Uh, we both got lost in our morning and the day stretching ahead and the morning being taking over our whatever plans to be ready at 9 o'clock. But instead,
Yeah,
I was outside gardening.
I believe you, but that could be what you were doing. Look at that.
I have two. I know some of you watching are gardeners. I know Tammy, if you're watching, which you often do, thanks, dear heart, that you love getting your hands in the mud, my little fellow earth pig.
There you go.
I was so happy out there today, just like crumbling the dirt and feeling the dirt in my hands and feeling the strength moving between my hands and the earth and grabbing out clumps of grass where I don't want it and moving little baby plants around and hoping that they're going to have a beautiful summer ahead. And it just made me think about how, I mean, it's such a beautiful picture of life, really. It's something I haven't been able to do for a couple of years because I had other things that were occupying the space in my life that would have gone for gardening, and I really had to just
Oh,
let
and
it
the
go.
time, and the time.
I had to just let it go, and now there's a lot of stuff going on in my garden that look that is everything got real tight and crowded and packed in, and some things got crowded out by other things, and we got to make room. Now it's all kind of like loosened out there,
Oh, your garden sounds like your life.
and it really does.
Some
It
things
really
got
does.
crowded out by other things. And that's very pig-like of you to be all in your garden and yeah,
So
but your face is clean, so you didn't stick your snout in
I
it.
don't know. I'm trying. I think I tried to clean off the some of the dirt
Okay.
but I love, like, look at this. You guys, I
I
really
bet
hope that everybody gets a chance to get their fingernails really dirty because
that-
even though it's hard to get the dirt out, it's just so satisfying somehow.
very much.
And I also got to say, since I'm babbling a mile a minute, that I saw a client yesterday and she's just finished a big kitchen project. So I understand not everybody has a garden that they can go to, but like, so she had just finished this really intense kitchen project. She tore out her whole kitchen. It was like from the 1950s. She lives in an older house. And she was saying, I'm just, I'm done with the project, and I'm so tired. I just don't want to do anything but sit around in my kitchen. But I have such a long list of things that I'm supposed to be working on right now. I don't want to do any of it. And I was like, wow. So it reminded me this morning that it's like she planted this beautiful garden and she's sitting in the middle of the garden and it's filled with like tomatoes and eggplants and zucchinis and flowers and everything. And she's like, okay, great. Well, I did that. Now what else am I going to do? Like, for God's sake, pick the fruit, enjoy what you've just created. It's so natural to want to enjoy the fruits of our labor and we to pause to feel the pleasure of our accomplishments, to let ourselves really, we work so hard to reach those peaks and then we get to the peaks and we're like, okay, what's next? I got to go back to that to-do list and find that next thing that I need to start working on. So I just, like, how is it that we skip over the part of the process that's the good part, that's the pleasurable part, that's the really enjoyment part, and just want to get back to work so
I mean,
fast.
hopefully the desire to redo the kitchen was itself pleasurable. So like, it's possible that we take on things that we think will be pleasurable and we turn them into awful projects. So, like the idea is like, oh my God, I get to redo my kitchen and, make it something like your garden, something I'm going to really enjoy. And even the process you could possibly enjoy, even though, we all know that these kinds of projects are disruptive and, but on the other hand, there's a lot of discovery and, it's the shift of like having this temporary kitchen you have to create and all of that. It's all kind of like interesting and different and could be fun.
Hmm.
So, a lot of times we hear people just complaining
Right,
about
right.
things they want to do that they really enjoy. It's like going on vacation, right? Like if you're going on vacation, you're just sort of really, annoyed that you have to, get everything done before you go. And if you're like me, you have to make sure that the floors are washed. And, like, why do I have to wash my floor before I go on vacation?
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
like, I don't know why that is. And is that enjoyable for me? But the thing
Honestly,
is, it kind of is, because I like coming back and seeing the house really clean.
yeah,
So, but that if I'm going to do it, then I have to, I think it's ideal. You want to enjoy what you do, choose what you do and enjoy it.
right.
And, then we're not slaves to our sense of like obligation, because, we all have a long punch list of things that most of us have a long punch list of things. I said that because maybe not you, because you're a pig, so your punch list might be short, like go put my hands in the garden. That's what I'm going to do today.
I wish. I'm learning to be more pig-like, and it's been fantastic. My list has
Yeah,
definitely gotten shorter. I used to have those 3-page lists that were all like, here's my have to do list, and here's my want to do list. And now it's
yeah.
kind of like my want to do list is getting longer. Yeah. And my have to do list, well, it's just I'm being more thoughtful about what I really am doing with my time. And I think a lot of people are also starting to approach
Hopefully,
their day that way. Yeah.
hopefully. I mean, that's kind of, I know we've been talking about like pain the last few weeks,
Right.
and it's like, so, all of life can have pleasure in it. Like the discovery of what your body can do can be pleasurable, even when it's uncomfortable,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? I mean, we have opportunities to discover in different pathways. Some look like they're going to be wonderful and fun and enjoyable, we think. Sometimes they're not, though,
Yeah.
right? You go on vacation and you're going to go rent a car and the car breaks down. And, it's like, well, that turns into a big aggravation, or your flight gets canceled, or, things, or they lose your luggage. I mean, things happen. It's like you can get really annoyed, or you can just try to roll with it, which,
Right.
I know that I don't do as well as I could, but, I get the idea.
Well, that those pain points also carry that aspect of, trusting the process. So in the garden, I can move plants around and make room and it looks lovely. Then I have to let it go and see what's going to happen and not, I could choose to go out there every day and worry about all of that. What else can I do? And there's always something more to do. But
Yeah.
at what point do you also say, that's now I've used my energy for pleasure and I've gotten a lot out of that. And now if I continue to work it and work it and work it, I've turned that pleasure point back into a pain point instead of allowing the trust to come in and the natural flow to take over. If your
So,
car breaks down wherever you are, vacation or on your way to work, well, that's what happened. You're in the moment where your car is broken down. So
right.
your reaction to that really says a lot about how you're going to choose to use your energy in that moment and what you're going to take out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here, here. Have to keep that in mind. And I hope we're not cursing my car to break down.
No,
Probably
exactly.
not.
Exactly. I also have a new plant today. This is called some people call this a Swiss cheese plant
Look, it's
because
beautiful. Wow.
the leaves have holes in them, and I bought it because the leaves remind me that everything is got the physical parts that we can see and the invisible parts that we can't see. But this plant really took it to a new level in
Is it
showing us.
like trying to fool the rabbits into thinking, don't come to this plant because it's already been eaten? Rabbits have already gotten here, so
I
go to the
love,
next one.
I love it. It's so great. There's so many beautiful things going on around us to connect to.
It's an amazing plant.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Like
So
growing in the garden, or is that a house plant?
this is a house plant. It's going to be viney. Apparently, it likes to grow up poles and
Oh,
likes to throw out tendrils. So I'm going to hang it up and see what happens. I'll have to turn it over, and if you're a plant in my house, basically, good luck. But I'll try to give it regular love and care and attention. And
yeah.
um, and
And you get a
actually,
lot of enjoyment out of it.
right. So the other place, before we go, I just wanted to, I mean, when you were talking, it reminded me, the other place where we often expect to feel really great, but sometimes feel uncomfortable is in our Qigong practice.
Yeah.
And, I know that some folks out there listening are with us in our Qigong classes, which are starting up again in a couple of weeks. Make sure you check our schedule. And sometimes in Qigong, like people will say, wow, I really was I really came into this because I wanted to feel more relaxed because I've been so tense. But at the end of my Qigong practice, I actually feel a little bit more, or during the Qigong practice, I actually felt like I was getting hotter
Yeah.
and more wound up and more, and I'm really, this isn't what I came here for. So that's another really good example of the relationship of pain and pleasure, of pain and pleasure. Because, that's, energy has to move and show us both sides. It has to show us both sides. And so what we do with both sides, how we can enjoy both sides is what I thought I heard you saying, like,
Yeah.
and how we absorb both sides or the process of that.
Yeah, it's great. Great example. We have to always be aware of in our practice. I think you're pointing out something really important.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think the
sensations, awareness, they can all change inside the body's doing things that we should appreciate. We could try to appreciate, and appreciation can lead to enjoyment, feeling happy, and having gratitude. So they can all work together.
Right, it has to be. And sometimes it just means getting creative about what you're choosing to look at. So I'll finish with one more story about the person who just did her kitchen. When she was done with her kitchen, she noticed she had gotten herself a beautiful rack that she could hang her pots on. It's been a lifelong dream to have a rack over her island.
Beautiful.
She noticed that it was like about 2 inches farther over than she wanted it to be. And she was like, I'm just going to let it go. It's just trust. That's the way it was meant to be. But then every time she would walk in the kitchen, she would look at the rack and she would be like, oh, I just wish it was just like 2 inches over. It's already screwed into the ceiling and everything. So she finally says to the person who's helping her with the job, oh gosh, it's so great, but this one thing is just really, I really wish I could change it. He said, well, we can just move the island underneath it.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Change your view.
We'll just shift the orbit of the Earth slightly, and everything will be fine.
Just change your view. If you're
Contractors can do a lot.
You're sitting in the dark.
That's
He's
right.
like, the island's not screwed down. You'll just shove it over. If you're sitting in the dark, you may not be able to make the dark go away. You can bring in the light.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a pain in your back, it may not be that pain is going to go away, but maybe you can appreciate somewhere in your body that's really working beautifully and send the love and appreciate and find the pleasure.
Thanks. Okay, listen, I think you need to go back in your garden. You need to be a little bit dirtier. Pigs need to be a little bit dirtier, although you're on the way.
Thank you so much.
And you're inspiring all the rest of us.
Okay, ta-ta.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.